What's up, guys? Sub-Zero here. Today we're doing another VOD review, and this is actually, I believe, a first-time VOD review of Appy's on the channel. Maybe I did one of him a while back, because this guy is a beast. If you don't know Appy's, he's a streamer, competitor. He has had some really high performances in North American tourneys. Right now, he's around top 10 on ladders. You can't see, but I'll make my camera disappear, but he's 1100 LP, so absolute beast right now. And it makes sense, right? This set, I think, really plays towards the strengths of a player like Appy's. Appy's, if you guys don't know, is someone who really likes the flex style of TFT, really likes to cook and make really interesting boards. And this game was definitely an example of that, him playing a board that I don't think I've ever played. And he's just a beast at this sort of like flex play style. Slam good items, play towards your outs, and at the end of the day, just sort of like play good TFT. So we have almost a Heartsteel opener. And then we also have this Corky opener, so it looks like we're going to hold on to both of those. I do, like, there is the option to make 10 gold here, right? Because we're getting a almost full gold econ opener, but he does get drop Heartsteel here, so I think, yeah, we're going to hold on to that. Birthday present, this starter kit augment, I believe the stats just look horrible on it. Maybe it's a little bit better now. I remember it being awful in the sort of like Fast 9 meta, but maybe since we're not in Fast 9, it still says 4.77, probably needs to be buffed. This set, just because of the fact that getting a 2-star 4 cost isn't as good because we can just get one as a headliner in our shop. Lucky Glove's really strong. We don't have any gloves yet though, so roll both of those. Do you have to take Lucky Gloves here? Like, I don't really love either of these options. I know Appy is someone who's played Twin Terror a few times to very solid effect, but yeah, I'm not really sure. Like, Final Ascension, I can't imagine. No, yeah, it's awful here. And, like, Twin Terror is good, but, like, you have to have guys to Twin Terror. I don't think we do have that. So, yeah, maybe you could roll Lucky Gloves and then keep Twin Terror as, like, a fallback option. Jeweled Lotus is much more sort of, like, flexible, but I do think the stats also, yeah, the stats don't love it at 2-1 just because you don't have a lot of crit to scale off of. But it is the most sort of, like, takeable sort of general augment from this spot. And it's also, like, you're going to be playing Lost Streak already, so it's not the end of the world if you take an augment that's stronger later, because we know we're playing Heartsteel this game, so we can just play for a strong board late game. Wonder if we're going to be playing a Yone game, just because we have this Yone early. We have Sword, which can turn into Edge of Night or BT. We have the Bow, which can turn into like Titan's Resolve. Anything else you really want to put on Yone? Not really. You could put a Last Whisper if you have to. Interesting that he decides to level here, by the way. He ends up winning this fight. Like, he's not playing for this sort of like full loss streak style. I would assume that he would definitely want to just like make 10 last round and just play for full loss, but no, we're gonna level here and make our board a little bit better. I feel like this is something I've seen from a lot of really strong players just in TFT recently, is like watching Dish Soap. He's playing Lost Streak, but he's not like full open, like taking a ton of damage, just because saving HP, especially in a set like this where you want to be able to play flexibly, you want to be able to make late game boards, is really nice, especially because you're not always playing for the exact same board, and so like giving yourself an extra round or two to pivot your board is really nice. But yeah, he's just gonna chill here, even pre-level. I mean, ideally we get like an Aphelios Heartsteel chosen. We just get 5 Aphelios or 5 Heartsteel in, and our game is set. That's definitely what he's looking for here, especially because he's chilling anyway, like not really caring about streaking. So like if we hit it, it's great. If not the end of the world. Like, it's not like we're win streaking anyway, though. My God, that Yone there. I think we're gonna be mixed streak here. Yeah. So yeah. We're going to win that fight as well, which is a little wild. All right, item on carousel here. There's a spat, which we're probably not gonna be able to grab here. So yeah, like this is our spot now. So we have Sword and Bow both open here. You could potentially angle jacks here. I don't know how much Appy's likes to angle jacks. We don't have any jacks as yet, but he's like a Masher. This can be like BT. There's actually so many options here. You could take Glove because you really want to just get like some kind of IE slammed. IE is a really slammable item, and with Jeweled Lotus, it gives you the extra 10% crit on the IE, so I wouldn't be shocked about just like an IE here. Probably this or this, I would think. Like something like a Deathblade, I guess, could be solid as well. Ooh, or even red buff. I don't hate a red buff slam, especially on an Urgot. It might just be 3-cost red buff if we can get it. Yeah, I kind of like that a lot, I think, the most. Can't get 3-cost red buff, though. It looks like he really wanted to go for it here. So then, like, second is probably IE or the Jax. Interested to see what his prio is here. He's looking at the Sword. Okay, Sword. So it could be Deathblade, just in terms of, like, the fact that you have crit here. Like, getting raw AD onto your units is really nice. We find a Seraphine, but I think we're just gonna... Oh, really? And yeah, he slams the Deathblade. I'm surprised here that he wants to play this Olaf, because it's going to guarantee that you don't make 20 gold. Maybe he'll sell at at the last second. But yeah, I would definitely, yeah, you definitely make 20 here over the Olaf. It's kind of interesting that he played that Olaf for a second. Like, it might fake people out who think he's just going to sort of like play for full loss streak here. But the downside is that if we won this fight, we wouldn't actually be able to hold the Olaf, which is a little bit sad. Crowd Diver, Katarina as an option here. We got gold from our cash out as well, which means we get to make 30, which is nice. Crowd Diver, Katarina. We have Deathblade Slam, so probably never going to be the take. Also, my god, that person's spot, who we just tabbed over with the Zed, the person who hit the Zed early, and who got a true damage spat right off Carousel, like, what is that spot? It's going to be a rough early game for us, though. It's going to be win, loss, win, loss, win. Through no real faults of Appy's, you know, not too much you can do in a spot like this where you just tend to win against the weaker boards and then beat the or lose to the stronger boards when you construct your board like this. Maybe if he hadn't leveled, we could play for like the full loss streak, but I think he just wanted to save HP. 86 HP here with Heartsteel, and just get to, you know, sort of like the later stages with Heartsteel, you know, like the stage 3, the stage 4 Heartsteel. We were really farming a ton of items, I imagine, is what he's going for here. He gets dropped the red buff here, immediate slam, by the way, which, yeah, I mean, it's so good on Urgot. It's gonna be really, really nice late game. We could maybe put these items on like an Ezreal with the Jeweled Lotus, and we have this tier open for potential blue buff. Outside of that, these could be like Caitlyn items as well. Really, really nice flexible items. And we pick up the Gnar Chosen here, finally, as a Chosen to play. Really, really solid Chosen to get in the spot. And ooh, look at this. Yeah, he's holding on to the Jaxes. Though, maybe the Jaxes are just for like a 4-Mosher setup at some point. I can't really imagine that we're going to play into Jax from this spot with red buff DB as our slams. But, you know, hold on to him because, like, no reason not to. But yeah, this Gnar's a great pickup. The board's a lot stronger now. This is going to save us a lot of HP through this entire stage. I mean, stationary support is a very strong augment. I feel like you just have to lean towards this. It almost looks like he's going to reroll it, but I mean, I would just reroll the other two immediately and then lean stationary support. Roll the dice. The Radiant one does give crit, I believe. So not a bad option. We don't really have anyone to put it on, so it's probably just stationary. If you had a really good roll the dice holder, I wouldn't be shocked about it. We had Shroud Zizirot. Interesting combination here. Oh, wow. The roll here is really interesting. Ends up just finding a random Kale and getting Pentakill in here, though we end up losing Superfan. If we want to do that, yeah, I feel like you have to keep Superfan in here. And yeah, he's just going to give up on those guys and just add in another Masha here. It's an interesting roll there. I think this is something that we saw like Dish Soap do the other day, and I was sort of surprised about it as well. But like players, when they're at this range of econ, right, he still gets to make 40 this round even after rolling. You sort of just say like, okay, one roll here could actually like blow my board wide open if I hit like something, I don't know, really strong here. I'm not really sure what that is the reason why I still don't completely get it. Like Lilia 2 doesn't spike our board at all. If you hit like a Poppy or something, sure. You're not going to hit like a Heartsteel Chosen at this point, and like you don't have Open Chosen. So it's interesting, but I've seen a lot more people doing this. Maybe this is something I need to incorporate into my game, is the just like the little roll in a spot like that where like you're still making 40, you're still making 50, you're just paying 2 gold. You know, like you're not losing any econ from it, but like I guess my sort of perspective is that like, is it worth 2 gold to see that shop? I mean, he gets like the Urgot in, which is nice, great unit. But yeah, it's interesting. Only 38 stacks here, sadly. So a little bit rough. I could look for the tier here for the blue buff. Can we pivot back to our board for a second? And we have Cloak open as well. Cloak can be Evan Shroud. Just really solid slam, right? We don't have LW. We have red buff and D-Blade. So like Evan Shroud is just a really nice slam in a spot like this usually. Also, it's on the Caitlyn. Like Caitlyn Evan Shroud would be imagine a godsend here, but we might not be able to get it. Yeah, we can't grab it there. So we're left with these options. It could still be the Evan Shroud, or you could just go for the blue buff. The problem is that like blue buff sort of locks us into playing around Ezreal, whereas Evan Shroud's a lot more flexible, so I imagine that's what we're going to go for. Yeah, there's the Evan Shroud. I assume you just slam it immediately onto someone like Set, or I guess Cassante for now should be tankier. It should be like way tankier. Oh my god, and we got a Heartsteel Set. The problem is we still don't have our Aphelios. I think if you did have Aphelios here, you'd probably auto-take this, but I think without Aphelios, you probably don't, right? Like, your board's gonna get a lot weaker if you take this, but obviously, you know, Heartsteel is good. Get an Urgot pair here, which is nice. I mean, you can just level in this spot, right? It's quite cheap to level. We don't really have... We have Olaf to level 4, which seems fine. But yeah, I would imagine you level here. Looks like he's... Yeah, you level here for sure. Get the Olaf in, and if we win, we can actually make gold. Evan Shroud. Gonna go on the Lilia for now. I think Perhaps because he's thinking of keeping Cassante later and he wants to move this to somewhere else. I would think Cassante would be coming out relatively soon, but looks like we're going for another Heartsteel cash out here, like a beast. Win this fight. I assume you sell a Lilia here, make 40, level 7 40 here. A bunch of pairs that we can hold on to here. We do also get a random Karthus in, which is going to be slightly better than Kale, I think. Though, honestly, like, this Karthus unit is at quite high levels of fraudulentness that, like, I wouldn't be that shocked if Kale was better, just because it does that single target damage to the frontliners, which is what you want to hit anyway. Great Shroud, by the way, beautiful. He's been doing absolute work with the stationary support, buying himself a ton of HP. In, you know, like a fight like this, where, like, without that Shroud, like, this fight looks a lot sketchier. Like, maybe even a loss, like, with the Archangel scaling, probably not, but, like, it would be closer for sure. There's the Aphelios finally, but he still doesn't have that Heartsteel chosen now. Just find a random Kale too, which I'm going to be curious if he actually buys here, because, like, we're probably not playing into any kind of, like, edgelord build. We can keep the Pentakill in for now. It's a really, I mean, it's really, really pretty how he's sort of, like, constructed this board, right? He's just sort of, like, adding on the incremental upgrades that make sense, you know, getting in the Pentakill, getting in the Sentinel here, which was super fan as well, keeping the Heartsteel in, playing, you know, Strong Sports, 77 HP, slamming reasonable items, and now he has this tier left over for potential blue buff, Shojin. This could be, like, yeah, I mean, you probably don't need IE, but it could be something like, it can't really be Last Whisper. I mean, worst case, maybe it's QSS. It could be like a TG. TG is really, really nice when you have this Jeweled Lotus, because the crit from the TG is solid, though not as broken as it used to be. But yeah, looks like we're just going to fast 8 it. That was hologram, right? That person doesn't have 6 Blitzcranks, I believe, so no need to worry about that. I've had times before where I have hologram, and then someone starts pinging my my hologrammed unit, and I'm like, bro, I only have 3. Like, quit your yapping. This person's board also, like, kind of horrifying. The only upside is they're basically down a combat augment and a half. Like, this did give a Radiant Hodge, so it's basically, like, some ways better, some ways worse Radiant Relics. But I mean, this is, like, potentially Gigabis Jax, and then, you know, the fact that they have Jax 3 at this point is a bit scary, and they're still relatively healthy. 36 is not too low. They also have the Lux, they have the Zed already. I didn't get a chance to see if they had the Zac, but if they had the Zac, then their spot is looking really, really nice. Yeah, Golden Egg, pretty sketch to take in this spot. Lucky Gloves looks really nice. You can make 2 TGs. You already have Jeweled Lotus. Like, these augments synergize beautifully, and you don't really want to take either of these other two. Hologram, okay, but not great. Red buff Guinsoo and a recurve bow. Not amazing. I think it's just Lucky Gloves here. Double Gloves here with Jeweled Lotus has to be broken. Time to roll here and find what we're actually going to play on our board here, because we still don't really know what we're playing. And this is, like, this is where I feel like the magic happens when you watch a good player play, right? Picks up a Caitlyn here, skips over, by the way, that Karthus headliner, which I think makes perfect sense in a spot like this. It really doesn't improve your board that much. You don't really have items for it. Like, he is looking for potentially, like, Ezreal 2-star, and then maybe, like, a frontline chosen. So yeah, he's just gonna hold on to this Ezreal, and he does get offered this Viego chosen, which he immediately takes, which I think is really, really cool, right? Because, you know, like, we have all of these TGs, like the Viego can get TG, and he puts together, like, what is this board, by the way? A 5 Penta 3 Heartsteel, and then you just have the big shots in the background as sort of, like, supporting units. He can move these items over to Ezreal, make a TG here, make a TG there, and then put Evan Shroud on, like, the actual tank. And so now he's playing into this sort of, like, Ezreal carry, and yeah, I don't think you tier there, because, like, you probably want to blue buff this Ezreal. But yeah, he's playing into this Ezreal carry, but the supporting cast around the Ezreal can change. Really, really cool, because I think Ezreal is just, like, an incredibly solid unit in the mid game, in the late game, but, like, you only have to play Ezreal plus Misfortune, right? Big Shot is really, really nice to keep in, but this 5 Pentakill board that fits around it, it gives us frontline, it gives us just, like, solid units to play around. We hit another pair of units here, so he's looking to actually, like, roll a bit here. He'd love to get Edgelord in, but I don't think, unless you want to cut Heartsteel, which at this point I wouldn't be shocked at, though it does fit in really, really nicely, right? Boom, boom, boom. You can fit 3 Heartsteel in very easily. And I think maybe he's going to greet another Heartsteel cash out. We'll see. Oh yeah, just gets the Yone in. What did he just cut there? He cut Ezreal, but yeah, I don't think you can do that. But you can play the Yone over, like, the Cassante, right? You're just gonna drop out of Sentinel, which is, like, a lot of tankiness for your board. The problem is, like, Edgelord onto this guy is so good. I think he's still trying to figure out what his board is, and it's nice to see that even someone as good as Affy is still, like, it gets kind of dizzy in spots like this and is not immediately sure what his strongest board is. Because I feel like this is this set in a nutshell, is being in spots like this and being, like, not 100% certain, like, okay, what am I actually playing here? What's my board? Because this set is very, very hard. Blue buff for Ezreal is your number 1 take here. If not that, which it can't be now, then you're looking for some item to build out of Cloak. I don't hate a Gargoyle Stone Plate, but I know a lot of people do. So I'd be curious if you wanted to build something like Gargoyle. I feel like you tank tank item here. I guess you could. Oh, I mean, no more Gargoyle, so it's either like Declaw or it can't really be second Evan Shroud. It could be like BT, but I don't really see BT making sense. Guess we'll see. It could always be Shojin, I guess. Can end up taking Rod here at the last second. I'm curious to see what this Rod turns into. I guess the idea is, yeah, maybe a Karthus item. And he's just still not really. Okay, yeah, he finally gets Edgelord in here over the big shot. Interesting. So yeah, he keeps 4 Heartsteel in, and so it's interesting. In this spot, he values Sentinel higher than Big Shot. I feel like we have enough frontline already, but Sentinel is a lot of additional frontline. So it's an interesting play here. I'm not quite sure myself. It's an interesting call. I think I definitely would value Big Shot higher, but I can see, like why you would value the Sentinel so highly. But yeah, takes another loss here down to 41. Getting a little sketchy taking these losses, but of course we have 4 Heartsteel in, so we're stacking up that cash out. The cash out, was that our, I thought that was our first fight, but maybe it wasn't with Heartsteel in after the last cash out. Did we cash out 4-3? I thought we did. It was either 4-3 or 4-2. But yeah, so we either have 3 fights left or 2 fights left on this Heartsteel, so it's definitely a little sketchy of a spot. The only upside is that like our Pentakill units are going to sort of like carry us in a lot of these fights. Like look at the damage the Viego does. This Mordekaiser too is an absolute beast. Like that is the upside to this spot, is that like even though he's playing around Ezreal as his item carry, the supporting cast with this TG on all of these Heartsteel units is doing a ton of work. Oh, that was actually okay. So we're only 1 fight away from cashing out, which is actually really nice. We can get that spike in power. We're 40 gold here, potentially go 9. Depending on if we get gold or if our board just happens to be good enough. I think these are the really, really cool moments. This set is like figuring out if your board's actually good enough to push levels in the spot. What are these items, by the way? Blue buff, of course, really, really nice. And I assume you want to make some kind of tank item. He does not have the Karthus any longer, so he's going to have to make either like a Gwynsu or a Deathcap here. Has this lobby looked very AP heavy? I would scout here and see, like, because I mean, a Declaw is actually pretty likely from this spot. The question is, what's the other item? Could be, no, you don't really need Morellos. Could be like a Gwynsu for like a potential Sona. Probably what I would want to lead toward, and then just slam it here for now, or maybe even on like Olaf or something for now. He's gonna go the Death Cap though, and take the belt. I mean, it can't be another Evan Shroud, so it must be Declaw, right? And yeah, the Death Cap set, I kind of love it. Just a little bit of extra damage. It's a 3rd item on the set who's gonna last a while. Whereas like if you Death Cap like Kale or something, like yeah, you can cut it, but she might actually not do as much as this set does with the Death Cap. Pretty cute there. And yeah, he just decides to make Death Cap over all the other items because, well, I'm not sure actually. I don't know. I feel like Gwynsu wouldn't be bad if you potentially played her. I guess the idea though is that it might be very difficult to actually fit Sona on this board. We might end up playing into like the Karthus version, but like it's tough. All right, we get a cash out here, another component and a bunch of gold. So 68 gold here. He has to survive 2 rounds to potentially, oh my god, no, it's just the 0 gold, go 9 here for the Misfortune. Wow. Huh. And he has open Guardbreaker. I mean, he probably just makes it, I would assume, on like Misfortune or someone. Maybe he's going to hold on to it for a potential carry later, like maybe Guardbreaker Death Cap onto like a Ziggs or something. Or I don't know. I mean, it's got to be Ziggs, right? Like you're not Guardbreaker Death Capping your Sona. But yeah, I mean, really sick. He goes 9 here, and he actually ends up winning this fight pretty hard. And he's actually top 4 already, and he still hasn't really built his board yet, which is kind of insane, right? You know, he's still playing this Ezreal 1 on his board. He's still like sort of transitioning, but it's just like every round he's played a quite solid board. He's found upgrades, and it's got him this far, and he also still has Heartsteel in, which I'm curious if he's going to greet it for another entire cash out, because I mean, this patch is definitely all about Heartsteel, right? Having Heartsteel allows you to cap out incredibly high compared to other people. We finally fight someone who has like a really, really solid board here. He's not going to hold on to the Ziggs for potential Death Cap holder. He thinks the Thresh is more important. And yeah, we're just going to look for item off carousel here. No TG to take, which would be the obvious immediate take. What do you want here? Like an Archangels? You already have Death Cap though. Maybe a Gunblade? I guess you could also take like a frontline item. I don't think you really need something like Ionic Spark. Just gonna go for the Ezreal 2 with JG. Yeah, JG solid item. And the big thing is that we guarantee Ezreal 2 here. Though he did get Ezreal in shop, which is kind of funny. And then yeah, ooh, you can move JG over here to this Kayn that we picked up. Wait a minute, is he really gonna play? No, there's no way we're playing 5 Heartsteel here. Like that's surely a little too greedy, right? But yeah, the Ezreal 2 off carousel really, really nice actually. Huge pickup there because it guarantees us S2, and he was he was kind of broken this spot. He really just went 9 to spike his board and say like, okay, my board's like decent, and I can just slowly build it up. This is something that I feel like a lot of people talk about, is this sort of like slow transition where like it's not like he's full selling his entire board and like pivoting out of everything. He's just slowly adding units and like pivoting out of the units that don't make as much sense, which is really cool. It's a Disco Blitzcrank here as his chosen. I don't think that does much. Suna's a great support unit, but we don't have any items for her, so it seems a little bit hard to fit. Rolling down a lot, and actually does find a chosen Ziggs here, which like you already have enough frontline. I think you might be able to actually play this. He's also playing Zac on his board, which is a really interesting addition. And yeah, you see here he locks for the Ziggs. He says, okay, this is going to be my carry. I can just play this over the Viego, move potentially some of these AP items there. I would think though, like, I mean, honestly, if you hit 2-star, ooh, Nashers, really solid Ziggs items. And yeah, he's just gonna move over all of these items to the Ziggs here. The Nashers, Guardbreaker, JG, really nice setup. And then like the Death Capping on the Kane. I might have said no, I said the right thing. Kane versus Viego. Item-wise here, double D-Claw. What are his other options? I mean, it is more tank stats, and like you want to tank item here. And Morello, Sunfire are the other options, which are pretty bad. You could take BT, but we don't really have anyone to hold it. Like maybe you could BT Death Cap Viego and then put the TG on someone else. Is an idea, but yeah, he's just gonna go for the double D-Claw here. He's really like this is such a weird spot, right? He has Dazzler, Ziggs, so he gets the Luxin for EDM, and then now he finds Bard, which is going to tie the entire board together, Jazz and for Dazzler, and yeah, then we're just playing this board. We're 2 out of 3 Penta right now. I have to assume this guy's going to come out maybe for a Yorick, so that you can play Penta over just 2 Sentinel here, but like. Okay, and he makes a duplicate on Lux. Okay, we have the set in for now. It might be that he just values 2 Sentinel really highly and put the Death Cap there and then TG on the this guy. But yeah, I mean, I have to imagine that it's Yorick over this this guy. But I mean, another win versus this guy who is really healthy, and we're top 2. We're actually top 2 at this with this crazy board that we have just slowly built out. He's even wait. I mean, it's fine to put this in, right? Because it's a better bruiser, but he even gets Heartsteel back in, and he sells Yorick here. Yeah, he's a bigger fan of keeping Heartsteel and Sentinel in than he is of pivoting into the Yorick here, which is like crazy to me. But I think he thinks that Yorick 2 is just not solid enough of a frontline. He thinks this Cassante unit's broken, and he thinks that Sentinel is a really solid trait. And like, I can't really disagree with any of those assertions. It's a crazy thought to me that did he just roll again? What's he rolling for here? I'm not sure. He rolled past a set 2 there, which was interesting. But I guess he just wants other more significant. Oh wait, no, he doesn't have set 2. Yeah. Interesting. I don't know. Maybe he didn't want it. Wanted something else. But yeah, I mean, I feel like Appy's just put really good units on his board, like the broken units this patch, and like, oh my god, also look at that fight, and they just kind of fit together. Items wise here, there's a Jazz Spat. What else is there takeable? Because like we're full item Ezreal, full item Ziggs. It's probably just Jazz Spat, right? Pretty much everyone's full item except for Lux, but like a Shojin on Lux, I don't think he's gonna do much. It's just Jazz Spat will do here. And yeah, he just stands here for as long as possible to try to deny it from this guy, try to troll him a little bit. We find a Lowy here, who's a much better bruiser to fit in here. Jazz Spat on her just to make her a little bit tankier. And yeah, this is our setup. Yorick to pair in shop here. Once again, I'll be curious to see if he cares too much about it, but I feel like he just doesn't. I feel like he thinks it's like not that valuable because we don't have the Olaf in anymore. We're not able to get 3 pentakill in. So yeah, he's just gonna keep this I'm thinking set for some reason, this Cassante on our board, and yeah, we're just rolling it down every round at 9, trying to find some upgrades to this board, but like we're basically at the board. Like the only thing that's gonna be better is, you know, like finding a Lowy 2, cutting this Cassante for like a Blitzcrank 2. But the problem is we're like so broke that it's actually gonna be kind of hard to find Blitzcrank 2. And I'm pretty sure Blitzcrank 1 is weaker than this Cassante, which is pretty funny that this Cassante 1, or Cassante 2, but this Cassante, a 1-cost unit, is just sitting on our board at 6/6, almost stage 7. And we have him on our board. He's gonna be on our board into stage 7 unless we somehow randomly find a Blitzcrank 2 here, which I mean could happen. We're level 9. But yeah, what a cool board, right? This 4 Dazzler Ziggs plus Ezreal, which you know combines pretty well with Dazzlers because of the synergy with Misfortune, and then playing around this almost like Bruiser frontline, this Bruiser Sentinel frontline is just a really creative board, and you know, not one I've seen almost anyone play. Rolling down here, trying to see if he can find maybe a Blitzcrank 2, maybe an Echo 2, you know, could be a better replacement. But it's still nothing found. Static Shiv not really going to do anything here, so he's going to go for Death Cap. I'd probably look at, like, I mean, yeah, double Death Cap Lux, though. I'm too much a redemption lover. This redemption item sucks, but every time I see it, I'm like, ooh, you know, it does damage reduction. It's so cool. But yeah, Death Cap Lux probably best here. Really close fight. Oh my god. Wait, who won that fight? Did he win that fight? He won that fight. All right, it's going to be a dub for Appies. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, check out my Twitch. I'll the links down below. Thanks for watching.